You're on.
Hi.
We are alive. A little adjustment.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to everybody to Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson.
And I'm AJ Royce.
Welcome, and hopefully we don't get cut off like we did this last time. We had no idea. We're talking away and found out later after we listened back that we did get it cut off and it was not showing up on the screen. So
Yeah.
if it does happen, yeah, hang in there and it should come back on. Anyway, get to it. Today's episode is 150. So we're up to 150 mark. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes. And it is July 7th, 2025. So 7/7/25 is the 7, but it's actually 2025 or a 9, 779. Those of you that are into numerology. And I don't know what all that means now that I said it. Looking at you, like, help me out here. But anyway, we do have a wonderful show to share with you. We did have conversations with some beings. I'm calling them Galactic friends. And they said their world is called Miracoli, I believe. Miracoli, something like that. I was trying to hear it. But it looks like their world is not on a planet, but it's actually on ships. And they do go to planets for vacation. So in just a bit, we're going to talk about what they were sharing with us so we can share it with you all. In addition, you got two words this morning, and we're going to get into that in just a bit after we explain our visions and our conversation with their Miracolis. I'm going to call them that, or collies, something like that. But anyway, the two words are,
Uh, Love and manipulation.
yeah, you're like, what does that one have to do with the other? But you're going to find out because it's like, whoa. And just so much comes up when you start looking at the whole situation. You also wanted to clarify something from a previous podcast.
Yes. Where I was talking about off world, there are some AI type beings who are tethered to this egg looking thing, tethered electronically to this egg looking thing. And they were stationed ready to help us if need be. And I just wanted to throw out an air of caution for that. We are in the midst of evolving ourselves, evolving forward and upward. And so it would be much better if we could go through this evolutionary process on our own without having the aid of something artificial. So, once you get that started, you open a door for who knows what. And so, rather than us going down that road, we can evolve. We can do our best now and resolve our own problems if we will.
Okay, I have a question on that. They did come saying they wanted to assist, and they were benevolent.
At the ready to assist.
Yes, and so in their, well, we would probably term a little higher technological means than most of us have. I'm saying all of us because I think we already have that within, and we're learning to use that. But in the meantime, what are your thoughts about their assistance or asking for their assistance? Are you saying no? It's better not to, or
I am saying no. It's better not to. It's better to not only attempt, but to do our best in resolving our own issues before inviting someone else in to help us to fix it. Because once you do that, you alter your own evolutionary process. And so it's just like thinking about it in Star Trek means, the prime directive is, you don't interfere. And so, why would we ask for interference,
Okay.
which is what it would be, because it would not be taking place naturally.
Okay. Well, what's coming to me is that so many people would depend, that they would step back and depend on them
Mm-hmm.
to do whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
And you know what makes me think about it? I'm going to reach for this. Okay. We all know what this is, right? So we depend on these, right? To talk,
We've
and
come to depend
communicate.
on them. Mm-hmm.
Oh, a ton,
Yeah.
where would we be without these? Yet we have the ability to communicate telepathically. And this just makes it easier for now.
Yeah,
Or
for now.
are we for now? And then, once we don't have these to depend on for whatever reason, then, we can use our telepathic
Yeah,
communications.
what we really are kicks in.
Yeah.
So we're becoming quite lazy because of the technological advances. Uh, when we can do so much on our own, making use of the abilities that we have, that I dare say these days maybe most people aren't even aware of. It's something I'll be talking about later on, is bilocation. You know, People are like, "What? By what?" But it is a capability that we have. So we are on a steadfast evolutionary trajectory, and if we can stay on that path and keep on going with it, going forward and upward, raising our vibration, we will be all the better for it. So that's just my 2 cents. I just wanted to clarify that, since I mentioned that those beings were stationed at the ready if we needed them, and hopefully we don't call upon them, but if we do, we do.
I mean, it's kind of like, okay, do it that they can assist us in some ways, that such as flooding. I mean, since there's that big flood in Texas, so I'm just thinking out loud, and it's like, okay, can they help even along those means, or not? I mean, obviously, I feel we need to ask. Any being cannot intervene without our asking.
Mm-hmm.
Even though some of you are going to say, well, they already have, and uninvited, or have they been invited?
I think we opened a door by our own going to sleep, spiritually, mentally, the whole kit and caboodle. We went to sleep and let other things fill that void, because we stepped out of our own active role in our progressive path.
And how did all kinds of things that come up in my mind is like, okay, how did that happen? How did we get hijacked? How did all this sort of thing? Did other beings come in and hijack what's already here? Which I do think it's happened, but we allowed it.
Mm-hmm.
And have we been so-called dumbed down? Our DNA cut off. Our 12 strands were, been working off of 2 or 4. Many people, I think, are working off of more strands of DNA, but it's all being activated now. And so we have these abilities, and more of these abilities are coming online, so to speak, because it is us. We are that technology. Is that, you agree with that?
I think so, if I was following you.
I usually say, does that make sense? So, all right. By the way, well, since I already started this, The whole egg thing that I was seeing with the energetic lines attached to the those what I would term organic or biological AI beings is egg shaped, and it was like a kind of a dark egg. It wasn't a white shell or anything like that. It was more of a darker color, kind of muddied. Maybe just a touch of green and some red, or that color's in it. So if any of you get the visions, that's what I was seeing. So I just thought I'd throw that out because I was trying to explain what you see, and sometimes I forget to explain it all because you're like in the moment, and then you go with what your visions are. Does that make sense? I said it again. All right. All right. All right. Let's get. All right. Let's go ahead.
According to what I've been exposed to in my experiences, this whole AI thing, I've seen civilizations go down that road, and it didn't lead anywhere good. It ended and had to start all over again. So, if we've had so much of our history either erased or stolen, or whatever words you want to put to it. We lost our connection to our history. If we had that history, we would know that story already, and we wouldn't have to repeat it.
I'm thinking too, though, that we are unearthing a lot of civilizations, and I do remember getting this information quite a few weeks ago. And it's like cities built on cities.
Yeah.
And so, when we get into the excavations that are shown to the world, I think a lot of these excavations are kept quiet.
Yeah.
And it's really a higher technology, much like what on the Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl.
Darn it! All right,
That's funny.
I can never say it right. But anyway, when they came in at the last episode, they came in as a group, and it looked like they were going to unearth a lot of their ancient technology that was really in a advanced technology that we can be using. And then they'll be here to unearth some of that and bring that forth. So I feel that's on its way. I'm looking at your face like, okay. So I thought I'd put that out there. It makes sense to me. All right. Today, 3 beings came in, and I'm calling them Galactic friends. To me, it fits. Felt they were very friendly, and actually, yesterday I knew that 3 beings were going to come in. In fact, after we sat down, I'm like, whoa, the energy was very high, and you'd sit with that energy. At least I needed to help simulate the higher energy. Otherwise, I'm kind of like, wavy. And so if you feel that way, those are higher energies. Just sit with it and assimilate some of the energies so you can better communicate. Go ahead.
While I was driving here, I was up the road a short distance, and I felt it. I actually felt like I was high, but there wasn't any reason to feel that way other than the energies. So it was quite palpable.
That was very palpable.
Yeah.
At times it feels like you're on drugs, which I've not ever been really on drugs. Or I used to call it a wine head. I have a wine, WINE, and I wasn't drinking any wine, but I felt like I was. So, it's that kind of feeling. It's like, wow, I feel wobbly. It's pretty intense until I can assimilate that higher energy. Okay. All right. To what was being shown, a female stepped forward, and I asked her what her name was, and something like Nadia or Nadia. I'm gonna use call her Nadia for now. Anyway, she stepped forward and was showing us. Looking at my notes here too. It's they're about planting seeds, and that can mean many different things. Seeds of wisdom, that sort of thing. Um, it means that, but it also means actual physical seeds. So they were showing us that they live on ships, and they look cylindrical, and almost somewhat
kind of like a
typical.
disc shape, wasn't it?
Yes. Excuse me. Disc and a row of windows all the way around, and then they were showing us lights, that would go around the whole ship, and so on and on, on off as they went around, the lights would go on, and so but they were saying they were going to show up in droves.
Yeah.
So okay, there's I know a lot of ships that are being seen around the world constantly now. Tom, you may be seeing these, and they be coming a little bit closer to us,
Yeah.
but they are very advanced beings and high energy. So they're high frequency beings, because we could feel it, and you could feel it when you're a
makes you
mile and a
feel
half
high.
away.
Yeah.
So it's you just breathe through it and just relax yourself as much as possible. It does, if you do feel these energies, it does help to get out in nature, put your feet on the ground or lean against a tree, something that is alive, and they assist with that energy. So if you come across that sort of thing, there are ways to help your body adjust. All right, back to them showing up. That's what their ships look like, and I was seeing, you can do it better than I can, like that, but this way. Yeah, we're both seeing that, and
like somebody playing a piano.
yeah, exactly. And that's what we were, and both of us are talking about piano at the same time, got the same information. Basically, play your own piano one note at a time, and we each have our own frequency. And I think that's what they were showing. So, all right. Next, any more on that part of it? Go ahead.
I did hear something.
All right.
Of one accord, we offer you this. Of one, sing. Of one, dance. Of one, give thanks. Of one, speak loudly. Of one, move as a ship carried with the current of true light. Of this you can be sure. It is coming.
That means they're coming.
Do.
So don't let it freak you out. We felt them to be very gentle. And they're also going to share with us. They were showing us seeds that looked the size of it, like a lima bean.
Yeah.
But they were round shelled. So the seeds were actually planted in a hole in the ground, as we would plant anything. And they would water them, and they also were using vinegar. So you mentioned it could be because it was a hard shell.
Yeah, to that acid, maybe not a full strength vinegar, I don't know, but an acid kind of solution to break down the outer shell of the seed so it can germinate.
Yeah, so the plant itself, I don't think they're real tall. Maybe 3-4 feet.
Yeah, I was saying it's something like, elephant ears, how when they're planted, they're not all that tall. Some of them are kind of pretty,
Your hand's out of the view.
Yeah, I know it. I'm showing it for you so you can tell them how tall is that?
About 4 feet.
Yeah. Well, if that.
Yeah, and the leaves look to be, yeah, good size, about like this, pointed, like you'd see
Yeah.
a leaf, and the leaves were edible. The whole plant was edible. It also grew fruit,
Yeah.
and the fruit
It's
looked to
red.
be, yeah, it was red, and it was, probably about this big, and the whole plant has so much, not had, has so much nutrition in it. That's all you need to sustain our body at a high frequency.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that's the only thing you have to eat. It's up to each of us. And some people like a varied diet, and that's fine. But it's one type of plant that is so nutritional that they're going to share that with us.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's to come. Uh, I'm looking forward to it because
Yeah.
it sounds lovely.
It does. And I just heard the word prolific. So I think they're going to be easy to grow. Just to get them started, we may have to use some kind of a vinegar solution to break the seed down, and then water. And I feel also that the earth, if you recall a few weeks ago, getting that the earth was cracking, and then below it was like the new earth coming up. And the I was trying to think of the right words, that the surface of the earth will also be, uh, what's the right words, where you can grow foods quite easily. And so it's not depleted of minerals. It is high in mineral and complex.
Yeah. So it's uh, like the earth tilling itself. You know, like when a field has, you let it go dormant and you plow it under, kind of like that. Turning it over.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up the nutrients, the nitrogen, and the other things that go into a plant. It's just high in all of that. So, I see an earth that's going to be very green, or whatever, desert areas. I've seen all this right now, by the way, so I'm going to share it as I see it. There will be very little desert areas. Some of these will exist for that type of plant, and also some of the minerals, rocks, that sort of thing. But I do see it quite green, um, and and everything's going to be very nutritional for our bodies. So it's really going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, back to our friends. They did mention that they live on the ships, and they do go visit planets fairly often and help planets out, and going through what we're going through right now, and help them with, especially with that one plant. I don't know what they call it,
Yeah.
but they do go to planets and some bilocation on planets too.
Yeah. When I was seeing that in my mind's eye, I was seeing it almost like a prehistoric plant. Like something that
Yeah.
used to be here a long time ago, but doesn't anymore because it got wiped out.
Huh.
So whether it's the same thing or not, I don't know, but that's what it made me think of. Dino food.
So you were thinking, you were seeing dinosaurs. Yes. I don't think we're going to have the dinosaurs come back, but anyway,
No,
yeah.
I hope not.
I wrote down here, changing into our surface of the earth, more of a nutritious sustainability, and it's happening. So it's, now it's not going to be overnight. It's going to go through a process. So it's exciting. It looks like it's going to, as you they were telling you, it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever that means.
I know.
Does that mean now, today?
Hold on.
Yeah. You start seeing them in the lights, going around. You'll know who they are. And now there's some. No, we won't go there.
Yeah, when I was real little, I was approached by a craft that hovered right over my head, and it had those lights that went around, very colorful, beautiful, beautiful.
Huh. I wonder if it was them.
I don't know.
As you're bringing that up, I was earlier seeing just the white lights, not color lights, but
Yeah,
as a child,
these
maybe
were
sure knew
colorful.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, interesting. Excuse me. All right, you ready to go on to the next subject?
Of course.
All right. I'm going to let you start on that,
Oh,
please.
okay. Okay. Um, uh, after after these beings left our presence, it was time for us to go to lunch, and I I was uh, quite suddenly just out there. Um, it was really strange because I felt like all I wanted to do was just go out in the middle of a field and sit under a tree and just sit there in the quiet. I didn't want to see anybody or anything or do anything or I just wanted to just to sit there. But that wasn't where I was. I was in the car with my friends, and so it was so odd. I don't think I've ever experienced such an extreme disconnect from my emotional body. I mean, it was kind of total. That's what it felt like. I, it was hard for me to even answer questions. You know. Um, so as time moved on, um, it started lifting off, but not before Bev was able to see what was transpiring. And she was seeing me in uh, another realm, I'll call it,
Mm-hmm.
interdimensional kind of thing. So, doing something else, helping out. And so did you want to?
Well, I just felt like you're moving things from one place to another. You're bent over, like physically moving things. And then I'm thinking, are they the seeds? Maybe. And we're not sure. But I was seeing this, and then I should look over. This is even though she's here, she like bilocated there, and she says, "I'm almost done." And then shortly after that, you started coming back more fully into this physical body.
Yeah, yeah. And I have been aware of that sort of thing before, but I never felt the emotional detachment before. So that was a new one for me. But this bilocation, doing things in two different places, is something that we are fully capable of doing. Bev and I have done it multiple times, um, and been aware of it. So I'm just telling you that, at this particular time on the planet Earth, there's a whole lot needing to be done, and not just done in what we view as the physical plane, but multidimensionally. A lot to be done. That's it's everything working together for something really grand that's coming. Um, uh, so I just wanted to tell you that those who are making use of the ability to bilocate and even beyond that, you may find it difficult to stay connected with the earthbound emotional body while engaged with the bilocation. But but don't be alarmed, because it will pass. You will re-engage with the emotional body when the task is completed, whatever it is that you are doing in another realm. You will reconnect. I did. So I'm just sharing that with you, so that if you find yourself in that kind of position where you just feel, you know, I felt like my emotional self was just flatline. Um, but the rest of me was there, you know. Um, and Bev was able to see what was transpiring someplace else. So, I'm really glad that she was able to see it because it it uh it adds credence to
Yeah.
it.
I said, you want to hear this or not? But I'm seeing it. So, yeah. So, yeah, we help each other out. And so it's interesting that,
Yeah.
any of you that are watching this video, that may happen with you. And to help share, it does help you understand because it can be kind of disconcerting,
Yeah. Yeah.
You were really quiet, Lily. And
Yeah, and I wasn't expressing what I was really feeling because I I wanted to be any place but in a car with anybody,
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to express that to my friends at the time. I just wanted to just work through it. That's kind of my habit, just work through it, push through it.
If you were alone or if you are alone, then by all means, go out in nature and
Yeah.
lean against a tree or
Yeah, because
whatever.
that's what I wanted to do, was to sit out in nature by myself under a tree, you
Mhm.
know. So if that happens to you, just honor that. Um, but I was getting this experience today to be able to share it with all of you
Yeah.
today. So
Mhm.
my guess is that it's happening to you as well. So just go with it, breathe deeply.
Yeah.
Know that you're going to make it through it, and it's just a bit unusual, but this too will pass. And you'll integrate it and learn from it.
It's just interesting that when you're talking the emotional body, we have these, the four bodies, and the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, right? To me, they're all one, yet emotionally, it was not connecting. You were not connecting.
Yeah.
And so it's
In
like
this plane.
in this
Mhm.
plane, in this body. Yeah. So you could start seeing some kind of a separation there, yet it's not separate.
Yeah.
Um, because you're bilocating, you are
Yeah, yeah.
elsewhere.
There was so much focus on what was being done elsewhere that
Mhm.
you know I don't know what to say about that.
I know that at the last podcast, earlier that day, you said, "I hope you're not like this during the podcast,"
Oh yeah.
something along those lines. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
Bev was out there.
I was out there and I knew it. And I just felt like I was throughout the solar system. And I believe I said that on the last video,
Yeah.
because it's kind of a strange feeling. You're like, I feel like I'm everywhere, at least I guess it's somewhat locally, if you want to call it our solar system. Yet I knew I was in my physical body too. But it's just sometimes it's hard to be in both places, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I said it again. Yeah. So
I
go
just put
ahead.
something together.
What?
I'm drinking coconut water. I was led to get coconut water from a place where we stopped while we were out. Um, Coconut water is loaded with electrolytes, and so this is helping my wholeness to be whole again.
In your physical body.
Yes, in my physical body. Yeah, so
Huh.
it's strengthening that connection. Um, yeah, so I just realized that. And coconut, I love it. I love it. It's very, very hydrating.
Which is something that we need, especially at this time.
Yeah.
Physicality, it's 96 degrees or something outside. So it's quite warm. So take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
All right. There's a couple more things that we're going to talk about. I know we're running a little long. I'm going to make this one part, quick, and then in just.
You don't have to speed up.
You're right. We don't definitely on a time. We try to keep it around 35 minutes, and I think we're almost there. But let me just get going. Okay, here's what I heard this afternoon. We call it our insights. And so that's that internal conversations that we have with our higher self or other beings. But I felt this was, I'm really not sure, it might be a higher self, another, the higher aspect of who we truly are. And the two words that came forth was uh, time casting. And then here's what I received. It has been known in certain circles that there are people who have the ability to time cast other realities. They can change or insert other realities in what you see as your reality. Okay, so what does that mean? So, time casting. I got to thinking about central casting. What is central casting? Actors, right? Inserting actors and actresses playing their part into making something happen, right? Their show or whatever terminology. Even President Trump uses that a lot. So it's like, something else is playing out, behind the scenes, and that we may not see quite, but it's visible if you are able to see it. And there are a lot of people that can do that. And so that's where my mind went when I got the words time casting. And so, starting to think about that, what does that really mean? Does it mean that, that what you think you saw and people are going to say, no, I made that up? In other words, they're not sure what is real and not real.
Yeah, you can.
Their physical eye. Yeah, go ahead.
You can be so sure that you saw something yourself because you saw it with your own eyes, you heard it with your own ears, you were there. But if someone keeps telling you, no, that's not what it was this other thing, you know, why did you see it that other way? That didn't happen that way. This is what it was. That enough people can tell you that sort of thing until they have you convinced that you're just losing it. You just don't see reality anymore,
Inserting their reality or
Yeah.
what they want you to believe
Yeah.
when it's really not.
Yeah.
So
it reminds you of, don't believe your lying eyes,
That's a song, isn't it? Don't believe your lying eyes, but they're not lying. So just be aware.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that came forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'd like to end our talk, our discussion today, what we started out with, and that was love and manipulation.
Yeah.
And explain that if you would.
This morning, my thing that I do in the mornings, I have my coffee out on the patio after I feed the birds and whatnot. And so I was sitting there and I was thinking about, what my desires really are. And that is to have my discernment so well tuned that I can discern between truth and lies, deceit and reality. And then the next thought that came to my mind just blew me away, and it was love and manipulation. And I was like, holy cow, love and manipulation. And I was thinking about how many times have I been in a position where I had so much love for someone else or something else that I manipulated myself into not being true to myself and followed a whole nother line of bull, you know? You can manipulate yourself and you can manipulate others all while thinking that you're acting out of love. So that's something that takes an awful lot of thought, to wrap your mind and heart around that one. Because I think we not only do it to ourselves, we do it to each other all the time. We placate each other. You know, if you live in the South like we do, you run into that sort of thing all the time. You know, it's become a way of life for a lot of people. You know, placating. Oh, I didn't mean that, honey. I love you. I would never. And all the while, you know that's not the truth. You know, they meant exactly what they said the first time, you
Mhm.
know, and if you happen to call them on it, it's no, honey, that's not what you bless your heart, you
Bless your
know.
little, bless your little heart.
Yeah,
It's like a big
yeah,
stab in the back, you know.
yeah, and it's like, why can't we be truthful with each other?
Or keep your mouth shut. Yeah.
Yeah, of course we love each other, so let's just act out of love for each other and not hoodwink each other with love,
But
manipulate. You
it-
know, it's just
yeah, and it's yourself along with others. You think you're
mhm.
doing it out of love. And I'm going to bring this up because it happens a lot. I'll pray for you type thing, especially in the South. I'll pray for you, and which is fine.
It's wonderful.
However,
But
yeah, what does that mean? People need to be, they're on their own path, and we have no right to alter that path, even though we think the path that they're on is detrimental to their health, well-being, whatever it may be. But that may be what they need. And do we have a right to even infringe on that path? We can suggest something. If they go along with it, fine. If they don't, fine. But it's us. We think it's manipulation out of
yeah,
what we think is love.
yeah,
Is it love, or are we imposing our right on something on someone else? Now, if somebody asks me to pray for them, I always ask whatever's for their highest good. It may not be healing. It may not, whatever. And people are like, what? What? Well, if I pray for them, that's always good. Maybe not.
yeah.
So
So if you preface it by for their highest good, you know,
mhm.
then whatever is not for their highest good is just going to be it's just going to be words floating in the air.
Yeah, and also you kind of make them mad, or can make them mad. For instance, too, we've had the floods in Texas, which sounded horrific.
Yeah.
Now I did just send out a lot of love to that whole area, and just period. However, that's to be utilized for the best of all those concerned. So I did not put any of my parameters on it because, again, it's not my business. Even though you're like, "Oh, what do you mean? These children," and I understand that because I hate to see any child hurt,
Yeah.
but or anybody hurt for that matter. But just remember that things happen for a reason and certain situations. And if you are to jump in to assist, then you always ask for permission, or you'll know that gut feel, not out of ego, but out of the true love of yourself, extending your love out.
Yeah, yeah, and if somebody's really in need of help, they'll say yes, please. You
Mhm.
know, but to just jump in and take over doing what you think is the best thing may not be the best thing at all. So
Mhm.
it's a big one. I tell you what, I was never before putting love and manipulation together quite like I did this morning. So we're just sharing that with all of you.
Mhm.
It's obviously something for us to pay attention to. Uh,
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. All right. Well, thank you all. It's been a pleasure being with you all today. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. If not, that's okay too. A lot to think about because we brought up quite a few subjects.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. So do feel free to share. And we do this about every 2 weeks. I know we're a little day early. heading out of town tomorrow. So appreciate your being here with us today. And we'll be back in 2 weeks, probably on a Tuesday this next time. And more things are going to be happening, and we may see our galactic friends on their ships bringing seeds in with them, actual plants. So it's going to be these exciting times that we're going through. It's absolutely amazing. So it's to me, it's a lot of fun. We love you all.
Yes, yes, unconditional. Um, yeah, when I think about it too deeply, I don't think you can actually think about love too deeply, truly. So, but when I spend time really thinking about what that means, how much love that I have personally for all of you, it really gets me here, you know. Um, but I do, and I would ask that during these summer months that you please look out for each other and look out for not only the plant life but the animal life. Please, they need shelter from the sun and the storms and uh, fresh, clean water and fresh, clean food. So please attend to them. But even more than that, they need to know that they are loved just as much as we do. We thrive when we know that we are loved. Um, so please know that I love you, and I know Bev loves you.
I do. I do. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful 2 weeks. Much love.
Yes.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.